I'm gonna be telling you how at age 16 I was able to create my first iOS app to the App Store. And I'm gonna also teach you the steps you need to take to create an app for the App Store as well. The link for the app is below, and please enjoy this video. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about the 6 steps that you could take to create your own app. Now, I'm going to go through each step in depth, but here are the steps right here. I did myself, and I was able to, I was able to create a successful app. So let's go for the first one. Before we start the video, guys, I just want to say, please hit that like button, subscribe. You know, I'm low on subscribers. I need more. But so the first step always is getting an idea. You know, if you have the idea, that's great, right? But you need to understand that it has to comply with the guidelines too. They're illegal. That's why they don't exist. I mean, 99% of your ideas that you will come up with, you'll be able to find. Someone has already done it. I'm sorry. But you can always add a twist, add something unique. But 99% of the time, it is unfortunately done already before. Do your research. If you have a good idea, you know, ask Reddit. The app Reddit, go to the iOS programming subreddit. They'll ask friends if they'll download the app. That's a good idea. Like, just ask people, how do they like it? For me, my first app, I tried uploading. I finished it. You know, it was a camera app, and they denied it. Binary reject for spam, they called it, right? So spam is when it's essentially the same app as the camera app that existed on the phone. Yeah, it had a unique feature to it, but it didn't have much. It was just the same thing. The next step is learning to code. People always ask where to start, what do you do? So this app is coded, and yours should be coded in Swift 5. I mean, you can do another language, right? You're gonna wanna do Swift 5 if you're creating an app for the App Store. Android is different, but you're gonna wanna, so if you don't know Swift 5, you should learn it. I know there's websites, hacking with Swift. And if you do not know any languages already, I would suggest not starting at Swift. Swift is a very complex language in nature, so I would suggest starting with something like Java, Python, C++ to learn the basics and fundamentals about like variables and methods and all that. You're going to want to start with an object-oriented language. I mean, you can start with something like HTML or CSS, which is the web behind the web. That's what runs the websites, but I would not suggest doing that unless, you know, you want to do a website. But and I have resources like W3 Schools is really good for, you know, any language really, and lynda.com is great too. So the next step is downloading Xcode and start developing your app. If this is your first time learning Swift, I would suggest what I did myself was I created a timer app and a calculator. And what I did was I made sure it was exactly like the one in the App Store that is supplied for you when you get your phone. Now, I did that to make sure I understand the basics, the calculator and the timer. Those two are really simple apps to make. You understand how the framework works, how Xcode works. Xcode is the program you have to use to code your app. Now, if you don't use Xcode, you can use other alternatives, but I would suggest using Xcode. It's free, it's supplied by Apple, and it's really easy to navigate. You can use some parts, and what's great about Xcode too is you don't have to code the whole entire thing. When you design it, you can code it, all of it, but you can also design it on a storyboard, and you can just edit it from there, and it's easy to change and interchange things. So it's great like that. A lot of people get stuck in the intermediate stage, and they understand the basics of programming, and they don't know where to start. So that's a good way to do that. Once you have a relatively good understanding, I would say start right away. Just start working on it, and just start trying things. You know, even if you mess up, it's good learning experience. Even if you delete the code later on, it's always good to just test. One of the great things is you can hook up a USB to your phone, and then you can simply launch it on your phone, or you can use a simulator that's Apple provides, but I like the phone because you get to interact with it. And then once you have that done, you know, you've coded. This is the heaviest step, obviously. The one we just went 3. Then 4 is creating a developer account, and you have to start researching all the hundreds of guidelines you have to meet, right? If you don't meet one of them, it's gonna get denied. So you have to look at them, you have to understand them, and it will take a little bit of time. They are heavy. There's a lot to it, but you can get it done. I was able to do it, right? So you can too. It's not that hard. You're going to also need a developer account, which is going to cost $100, which is the only price you're going to have to pay if you want to run an app. I mean, you can. There's other costs, obviously, if you want to run servers and things like that. But for you can create an app for exactly $100. Well, really, the last step, I mean, there's another step, but it's the publish the app step. This is submission step, right? This is the most tedious step, and you have to comply with each guideline. Each time you submit, the app team will review it, and it'll take about a day, 2 days. 50% of apps are reviewed in 1 day, 90% in 2 days. So it's gonna take a little bit. I hated waiting. So constantly like, I just want to know what they say, you know, because you do multiple redos because they reject it most of the time. The first 3 or 4 times. For me, it was 4 times, right? So I got rejected for a bug where my app crashed, not complying with prize guidelines and sweepstakes and things like that. I got one where they needed me to answer questions and answer a couple prompts that they gave me. So it's not always coding. They need clarification on a few things. And then the last one, which was annoying, was I had to rebrand the whole entire app. And that sucked because the first name was actually taken what I had before, so I had to add a little twist to it, you know. I fixed it up and had to change the logo, everything to it to make sure the app didn't contain the old name. And then once that was done, I was able to publish, and they gave me the congratulations email, and I was able to submit. And that was my story. And I think you could do it too with the time you have, you know, summer approaching. I mean, if you're watching this video concurrently when it comes out, if summer is approaching, it's a good time to start working. Hopefully you enjoyed that video. If you did, please hit that like cringe button. It helps the algorithm. And if you want to see anything else, anything more specifically about what I did, how it worked out, the problems you occur, like, please leave a message, comment. All the socials are below in the description. Yeah, please hit me up. Yeah, thank you for watching, guys. I hope you have success in your app, and if you do, please show me it and leave me a link, and I'd love to check it out.